compared to last?
I want to say two different, just kind of different road this year. I accepted it. Been watching film, seeing what I need to improve on, and so far, I've been doing a pretty solid job. But starting next week, it's for real. So,
So what role, from what role to what role?
just coming off the bench and then being an energy guy, but I feel like I got the same role, just starting now. So just bringing it from the jump, getting my teammates involved, and also putting the ball in the hole.
Has Tommy or any of the other coaches said, maybe leading up to this game or even after it, that what you've seen so far in these exhibitions is nothing compared to what you're going to be seeing next week and in the regular season as far as the competition?
No, for sure. I think that's been the biggest thing, is just not getting too high, not getting too low, kind of staying at a steady pace and mind frame. Because as we know, we're playing in the best conference of basketball in the country. So it's going to be more physicality, better athletes. It's going to be a higher level competition. So I'm looking forward to doing it, getting to next week, because the games are, like JB said, the games are for real. So just preparing for that.
How has the transition gone from high school to now for you?
I mean, it's been a transition. I mean, playing against guys like Caleb Love, Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, Deli, and Trey, and all these guys every day, it's a different type of feel, because usually I'm used to being the biggest guy on the court, really being the one that really lays the hit on guys. Now it's been a thing where I'm kind of playing catch up, you know what I mean? Just from in terms of pace, physicality, shot making, and just intensity in general. So it's been a journey.
What have you learned from them, whether individually or otherwise, because they're crafty, they're older?
No, for sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing I've learned is just the consistency of their work. I mean, everybody sees it. Jaden has made a huge jump offensively this year in terms of shooting the basketball, and that's a testament to his work. And I think seeing these guys that are older than me, kind of being in the gym with them whenever they go to shoot, I'm with them shooting, watching film with other guys, watching film with all the coaches. It's just a thing where you have to constantly get better at your craft.
Jaden, first possession, you pull up 10 seconds in, seemed a lot more aggressive offensively than maybe we've seen, except for a couple times down the stretch last year. Is that something that the coaches have said, we need you to be looking for your shot more often?
Oh, yeah, they've been saying that, since I got here. But just having that confidence and, being the first one to shoot it off the first possession, that's something we've been working on. So just having that confidence and, stepping into that shot.
Is it less downhill?
I'm still trying to get downhill. I'm trying to, find that even match, getting downhill and, not settling as much, throughout the game. You make a couple, it's hard to, get downhill a little bit, so.
Does it affect the way you run the team opposed to what you did last year when maybe you didn't have to score quite as much?
Not really, just – oh, my fault. Not really, just taking what the defense gives me. As a point guard, I love getting my teammates involved and I'm seeing them go. But, if the defense is, forcing me, daring me to shoot, I'll do that too.
What have you seen in Carter?
Carter, unbelievable freshman, He has, high standards for himself. I see him in the gym every day. He's the last person to leave practice, getting shots up. Even when he was injured, just asking questions. And, he's coming a long way. So he's definitely going to have a big role in this team down the stretch.
Jaden, we talk about what the defense gives you. I mean, does it get easier? I mean, it seems like you guys can score in any number of ways at every position. I mean, are you finding, especially early tonight, did you see things that they were giving you because you have so many other possibilities? Or?
Yeah. I think that's just credit to my teammates, unbelievable threats. C Love is going to, attract the defense and get double teams. We got Tobe down there. He's going to cause double teams. So, them being so good offensively, that's, opening up my game. And, they gotta pick one or the other now. So.
What have you seen in Caleb too? It seems like he's more efficient or trying to be less shooter. You know what I'm saying?
Credit to C Love. Just the journey he's been on and all the feedback everyone has, but they really don't see the work ethic and all the stuff he's putting in. He's giving a lot up for the team. He could come down and shoot a three anytime he want to. So credit to him for buying into the team and just wanting to be a winner.
Carter, there were a couple times, I remember at least once in the first half, where it seemed like everybody that was on the court is not guys that were probably going to be starters this year, or at least at the outset. How important is that group to be able to be effective by yourselves without having the starters in there?
I think that's a large role, because I think we have 10 guys that can play anywhere else and a lot of guys that could start on any other college basketball team. So I think the biggest thing for me is just constantly learning and taking away things from the groups, because I've never been in a position where I've come off the bench before, so it's kind of gave me a different lens. And seeing guys like JB and the guards in front of me go into games and kind of see the coverages they're in, how physical they are, it kind of gives me it allows me to mentally prepare going into it. So I think just executing and getting things done in an efficient manner is the biggest thing for that second group.
Did Jaden give you any pointers of like what it's like playing off the bench as far as instead of being out there first?
No, I wouldn't say he necessarily gave me any pointers, but I think the biggest thing I've learned from him along with the other guards is just guarding these dudes, because it's, like I said, it's different. It's a jump from high school to playing college basketball, especially at this level. And just trust me, if you would have saw me the first 3 weeks of practice, they were beating up on me. Anytime they got a switch on me, it was just like, okay, we're going at this kid. We're going to make him work. So I think I'm grateful for them doing that, because it's got me to the point where I am now, where I'm able to pick up fast guards that are smaller than me. I'm able to switch on a big. So I think that's just been the biggest thing.
Time for one more.
Well, following up on that, Carter, if you end up coming off the bench, you feel like you're used to, obviously you can have a huge impact off the bench or starting, and with the guys in front of you. What has that adjustment been like mentally to, if so far anyway, coming off the bench and ready to contribute like that?
I don't think there's really been any adjustment. It's a thing where once you get in the game, you still have to execute, whether you're the first guy to touch the basketball in the game or you're coming off the bench and you only play 2 minutes in the first half, because you never know how your minutes can impact the game. I mean, there's a handful of games last year where KJ didn't play too much in the first half, or really to start the second half, and he finished out the last 16 minutes of the game or the last 14 minutes of the game. So I think just kind of being under KJ's wing and all the guards' wings, they kind of told me that just be prepared when your name is called, because like we said last year when we played UCLA, we were down I think 23 or something like that, and KJ went in with about I think 14 minutes and 23 seconds or something like that, and didn't come out the rest of the game. We ended up coming out on top. So I think that's just the biggest thing, being prepared when my number is called.
Well, being, as you said, it's your first time through, are you finding the first 4 minutes of the game where you're seeing something like, okay, once I get in, I'm gonna take advantage of that, or stuff like that kind of pop up?
No, for sure. It's kind of a thing where you understand that everybody's getting their rhythm when the game first starts. The starters kind of have the luxury of not necessarily easing into it, but everybody's kind of trying to find their rhythm, get to their spots, kind of get a feel for the game. You don't want to be too physical. You don't want to be overly physical. You don't want to be allowing the other team to be too physical and not let us get into our sets, but kind of taking advantage of when I get in the game, knowing that other team starters are still going to be in because other teams aren't too deep. So just constantly attacking them, putting pressure on the rim, whether I'm in for 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, the rest of the half, but just constantly putting pressure on the starters on the other team and the key guys on other teams. These other teams are only going to play 6, 7, 8 guys maybe, and we have the capability to play deep into our bench. So just allowing our starters to get a break and to get a breather, and whenever they're ready to come back in, I'm just playing to the best of my abilities for however long I'm in the game.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bruce, this is your floor. Oh, you love it. And you know I love you, by the way. You know I do. And I'm being serious. So, all right, guys, let's get this done.
Was there anything you saw in this game that you were looking for that maybe you didn't see the first game?
Well, this was more of a preparation game. Point Loma is they have a really good program. They have a good coach. They have Division I level players. And if you've ever been to Point Loma's campus, you know why they're there. It's beautiful. And it's a great place, and it's a great college experience. So they're doing things the right way. And Justin does a really good job. They got a nice system. And I'm glad we played against it because I'm saying, I don't know the right percentage, but a high percentage of teams have elements of that system in what they do. So we needed to prepare for it. So it was great just to have a few days to be able to prepare for those actions and kind of figure out some plan A's and plan B's, how we wanted to guard it. And, then they tempo pressed us a little bit, which was good. I mean, the little bit of a 1-2-2 press. So we had to think and adapt. And we made some mistakes and fouled a lot too early. And, we got to learn from that. We had great officials, and I'm sure they were probably, most of them were all fouls. So, and in the second half, I thought our guys did a much better job. We didn't lose our edge, but we just played a little cleaner. And when we take away, their free throws, and then second half, you kind of wear them out a little bit. The threes are a little harder to make. The twos were really hard to make. I mean, that's a winning formula.
Fouls have forced you to maybe play some lineups that you wouldn't have otherwise?
I mean, maybe a little bit, yeah. I mean, I didn't do a good job managing the end of the half. I put a five-guard lineup out there, and to be honest with you, we haven't spent any time. And in the past, we may not have spent any time on a five-guard lineup, but you'd throw a veteran like Pella out there, and he could figure it out for everybody. And so you need one guy to kind of become a little bit of a guy you can play through, a little bit of a catalyst when you kind of go with just a lineup that you're not normally playing. So that was a little bit on me, or a lot on me. But I would have loved to seen our players solve it. Really good players make their coach look good. And when your coach makes mistakes because he hasn't worked on something enough, they can make you really good by solving problems. And so I was hoping that would happen, but it didn't. And so we'll work on it a little bit.
Different players, Gene, compared to last year.
Jaden's gotten so much better. I mean, just if you look at his growth in the last, let's say 15 months, but the last 12 months, the last 6 months, and, you can see his confidence growing, and I think he's got an identity for how he wants to play. And, I think he kind of had that identity before, but I think now he's packaged it with fundamentals. And what are fundamentals? Fundamentals are just repeatable habits. He's got repeatable habits and a great foundation from which he's playing from, so he's just a really effective player.
Fouls, what was your take on Delly's fouling a three-point shoot, and then there was a technical on
Yeah,
that?
I mean, listen, I think something will happen between him and that kid. You just can't stand over somebody. I mean, because the official told me, he's like, hey, I don't know what he said, but just somebody stands over somebody and then, whatever, it looks like it's threatening, and then, the guy on the floor retaliates, and then who knows what happens. So I thought the ref did a great job of handling it, and we got to learn just, I think we can have, take a deep breath in those situations and not hurt ourselves.
I think we saw what we saw in Carter, the improvement or whatever, what you saw in recruiting him. He's just that dude who does a lot of different things well. Yeah.
Carter has a great ability to impact the game in a lot of areas, and, and I've been on him. Just to really focus on effort and energy. I think, as that habit builds for him, and it is building, he is playing hard. But, when you're a supreme athlete and really talented, one of the greatest gifts you have is to be able to play harder than other people. So now we got to get it so he's obviously playing like, I think KJ setting a good example for him. I mean, KJ today was tremendous in his effort, and Jaden as well. And listen, I think Caleb made a lot of progress in that area. So I think our overall effort and energy is getting where it needs to be.
But, when Luke had his guys here, 10 guys, the second team gave the first team, they sharpened him. He must get sharpened by the guys he's going against every day.
For sure. I mean, there's no doubt. This year, we probably went a little bit more head-to-head in practice, than we have in other years, and I think it's helped him. All of our guys, have had tough days here and there, but that's part of the process. So I like how we're trending. I love that we're getting on to the real thing, and I'm excited to have another really good week of practice, and then next Monday it's for real.
Do you anticipate Mo being a bit ready by then?
We're going to see. I mean, he's amping it up day by day, and I think he had a good day today. And, as long as we don't have any setbacks, I mean, that's a possibility, but, I'm going to let, Justin and Big Mo kind of make that decision.
Would you kind of look at it like Wisconsin's kind of the big key to get him back by then, or?
Canisius, Monday. Is it November 4th? That's what I'm focused on. I don't even know who we play second.
Wisconsin was what you were looking. Somebody asked you about the Big 12, and you said Wisconsin. You were focused on. But
I mean, listen. I'm not looking past Canisius. I'm not looking past Old Dominion. I mean, obviously, we know playing on the road at Wisconsin is going to be really hard. So, it's we're focused on continuing to grow, and one of the things is we take a lot of pride in not getting ahead of ourselves.
I'm sorry. I meant in terms of getting Big Mo back.
I mean, if Justin tells me he could play 25 minutes on Monday, I'd love to have him for 25 minutes. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna let Justin and Mo. I don't have any, any other thoughts on that, like on specifics. I want him back as soon as we can get him, as long as it's Justin and the doctors feel like he's, he's built for the long haul. I mean, that's the main thing I'm interested in.
Comes to Canisius, with them having a new coach and transfer portal and all that, can you really do much scouting on an opponent like that?
Well, I mean, a little bit. Coaches have tendencies, but hey, I have not watched one. I mean, I don't even know what school colors Canisius is, and that's no disrespect to Canisius. I haven't watched one clip of film on them. We've been locked into where we're at, and I've been really focused on our own team. And I'm going to continue to focus on us for a few more days, and then, over the weekend we'll start prepping, and and hopefully, in our preparation this fall, we've, built a really good foundation that's, going to, probably be the foundation of our game plan.
A little about Jaden going from last year to this year and being really improved. The difference in Caleb from last year to this year, it's kind of, you're asking less from him or more efficient? What are you asking for?
Well, I'm just asking Caleb to, he's a veteran who's been there, done that. And I don't think Caleb, every second on the floor, has to try to outdo what he's done before. I love how he's blended into the game. I love the fundamentals he's playing with, and just really valuing those. Like, he had a drive in the second half going left, got to a jump stop. He picked the ball up with a good pickup, had a swivel. It's a technique we call, and a little dump down pass to Trey for a dunk. I thought that was one of the better plays of the entire game. The highlight dunks and coming off the ball screen and dunking. That's cool. He can do that, but I just think this keep getting him to appreciate the simple things and the fundamentals, and that'll be great value for our team and great value for him as a player.
What's your thoughts on KJ, the times when you've had him, especially at running the point? He looked like you have experimented with him a little bit.
I mean, it's not an experiment. I mean, he's a good player. And so, we honestly haven't practiced much in practice, but I'm trying to, just give it a few looks here and there, and then casually build it, over the course of the next few weeks. Because I think, it's not necessarily that he's the point guard. I think if you put him out there with Deli, could be the point guard. I think Caleb could be the point guard. I'm not really just having another lineup if we need to rest JB and, Conrad. I mean, somebody I really trust, but giving us another option as well.
How has Caleb been able to appreciate what you want him to appreciate?
I think, Caleb and I have a lot of trust in each other. And he knows that, me maybe asking him not to do more is good for our team, and ultimately could be really good for him and what he's trying to pursue. So, now listen, I'm sure Caleb's going to have 25-point plus games here and there. I mean, that's just the type of player he can be. But I don't know if we want to build our team, where we're dependent on that. And because I think we have a lot of weapons and a lot of pieces, and we can come at you a lot of different ways.
I think there was a game or two when you said, okay, Caleb, you've made enough points, blah, blah, blah. You've scored enough. Let the other guys, you probably won't have to do that again with him.
I don't know. I mean, we're going to see. Now, we'll have to see how everybody, the next game's for real. I hope we keep the same approach, player to player. I hope we don't start playing for stats. I mean, we've never been a program that really, talks about playing for individual stats. We just talk about accumulating effort. A cumulative effect is something we always talk about, and I think you can see that with the way we play. And we have the tendency we can wear people out over time, just with ball pressure on defense, activity off the ball, transition offense, our post ceiling. I mean, that there's an intentional aspect to what we're doing.
The way Henry played in that first exhibition and then tonight you went to him early, is that a sign he can be in the rotation regardless, or do you see him as maybe in certain matchups or certain styles?
I mean, I see him in the rotation regardless. You know, I mean, that's been the plan all along. And, you know, what you guys are seeing, you know, in these games is honestly how he's practiced for the majority of the fall.
I don't know with that, if this is relevant or not, but that redshirting rule, you know, still, I think the last I saw is still you can't play in a game. I was wondering if with Emmanuel, is that even a discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I think the rule's still the same, you know, and we really haven't had any discussions. You know, we'll see what comes up this week on that, but you know, I think it would be great if, you know, they could come up with something in basketball. I mean, I think eventually they're going to have to. I mean, obviously football's done it; it's made sense, and you know, I just think for health and safety, for personal development, we're coming out of an era where guys got 5 years of eligibility. What's wrong with giving, you know, guys, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, 4 years plus, you know, 9 games, you know, whatever, you know, whatever the ratio ends up being. I think it's, you know, 30% is probably the number they work off for football. Yeah.
Or maybe just a straightforward cross sports they've also talked about.
Yeah. I mean, you're having conversations I'm not having, Bruce. So when they tell me what we can do, I'll be like, hey, thank you. That's a good decision.
Well, and this is, I know it's unusual at this day and age anyway to even think about registering a guy, but with Emmanuel,
It's not unusual here.
E-Man, he seems like he has that long-term potential. That's
I mean, listen, E-Man's doing a great job. He's getting so much better. And you know, E-Man's, you know, position on our roster is no slight to him or his ability or his talent. He's gotten so much better the last few months. It's almost staggering. We have other really good players that have a little bit more experience, and that's a good thing. And that's, you're going to have those kind of situations when you're at a program like Arizona. And it's my job to, you know, handle those delicately because it impacts a kid's career. And I really believe in E-Man, and I think he's got a ton of potential in him. And listen, I think redshirting for us is, you know, across the board has almost worked out. I mean, hey, listen, I'm happy Dylan Anderson redshirted last year. I really am. I'm so happy for him. He's got 3 good years at Boise to make a huge impact. I mean, that's awesome. You know, I would have felt horrible if he would have played and only played, you know, limited minutes and then burned a year. Now he only has 2 years to play. So, I mean, I'm happy he redshirted as well. You know, I wish we would have redshirted Phillip for him. You know, I wish we would have redshirted Adama and those guys would have had another year. I mean, that's genuinely how I feel. It doesn't always work out that way, but I think just anything you could do to lengthen those guys' careers is a good thing.
All right, still got that half-court shot, it looks like, right?
I may have made one today. Yeah. I don't know.
You don't have to.
Wait. I mean, I think so. I don't know. We can watch the replay if you want. I don't think I'm traveling.